Pulsechain update. So I hope you guys are enjoying yourself out there. Now I am super looking forward to Pulsechain, so I hope you are too. We're going to get into a few little insights here on this channel. We're going to look at the Pulsechain launch time frame. We're going to look at the launch time frame, and we're also going to look at Pulsechain sacrifice strategies. So lots of stuff out there at the moment. Few people, good YouTubers, have done big Pulsechain strategies, so you can check that out as well. Once again, welcome to this live stream. We're going to be following Pulsechain. It's really a game changer in terms of the lower fees, and also for staking tokens, going to be super awesome for that as well. It's also going to be 4 times faster, better throughput than Ethereum. So it really is going to be a really solid chain. It's getting a lot of attention, even from exchanges like Okia, top 10 exchange. They are looking definitely close at Pulsechain. It is a big deal out in the market. A lot of people are lining up to put their money in the sacrifice address, and or are trying to clamor for that Pulse token. A bit like Ethereum on the Ethereum chain, in the early days, you're getting in early onto a mega chain. It's going to be really big, and a lot of people lining up. What we're going to get, we could get well in excess of 100 million US dollars in that chain. Could be even way higher than that. Could blow our minds. So it's going to be pretty exciting times. Now there's going to be a lot of price discovery on the Pulse chain, so that's going to be super exciting, and I think it's going to be a FOMO time for sure. But really, ultimately, it is a massive fork of Ethereum. All the copies of the projects are pretty much, a vast majority of them will be copied over onto Pulse chain, and that's going to be exciting times of price discovery. Obviously, with the cheaper fees, that's going to be a major, and 4 times throughput is going to be a major advantage, value add onto the Pulse chain. So we're going to look forward to see how that plays out. Also look forward to see how the projects for those running those ERC20 tokens get onto the Pulse chain. Not only that, not just the existing ones on Ethereum, but actually all the new projects that will actually end up building on top of it, of Pulse chain. So lots of really upside there. And obviously Richard Hart, founder of Hex, is also the founder of Pulsechain. So a lot of leadership there from Richard Hart, who's a world-class marketer, and so it bodes well for the project as well. All right, so I hope you guys are enjoying that. It's a bit of an intro into Pulsechain. It's coming out, and it's really the big thing ahead. Huge potential gains in there. 100x, 1000x, 10,000x. Who knows? It's just a massive thing in crypto. Obviously, do your own due diligence, not financial advice really, just entertainment purposes, and just expressing my opinions about the topic. But I think it personally is a major thing. So hopefully you enjoy that. I like to do these updates. Now here's the big news. We've got a video here. This is on the Hexologist show, which is the main host who pretty much covers the Hex token. And so this is a small clip that I'm going to play from Richard Hart, the founder of Pulsechain. So let's check that out at the moment. All right, let's just go and play that, and I'll jump on there and do that now. So there it is, folks. That's how short it is. The Pulse chain is just going to launch. The sacrifice phase is the first phase. Then the main chain is going to launch afterwards. So the sacrifice phase is just going to launch like that. It's going to be a surprise. Not going to be any big lead up, 3 days, a week, and people can gamify the market. It's just going to be launched. Bam, there we are, and it's going to be there. So it could be any day now at the moment. So we know it's progressing pretty well. Now it has been delayed about 3 weeks, so there has been a time frame, but you can see that update. Pretty awesome there from Hexologist recording Richard Hart. So there we are, folks. It's going to be a surprise announcement. That's one of the things we wanted to find out, or whether it was going to be a pre-announcement so people would be taking their positions before then. So you've got to be careful. If you are, one of the strategies that people are taking is buying Hex token, and that price has been really mooning while the rest of the market has been either flat or a bit bearish, or somewhat bearish. That's the play that's been happening. Obviously, there's quite a lot of opportunities in yield farming, so it's not completely bearish. There are a lot of yield farming tokens doing well, like Titan, IQ, and others. So there is stuff up there, but definitely Hex has stood out. It actually reached, we're going to look at Hex at the moment just as a subclass of a strategy that's going into the Pulse chain. And so we're going to check that out too. Hey, Classborn, hi Cowboy, Axiom included Pulsechain. No, we're not sure whether Axiom will be. Now, we know that 2 tokens won't be that are similar, so that could most likely be Axiom and Wise. We have covered this before, so I'm not expecting Wise and Axiom to be included, but you never know. You never know what the final layout will be. There are people talking to Richard Hart about that, so we'll see how that plays out at the end of the game. But nevertheless, we're really focused on Pulsechain here and the benefits that it's going to bring to pretty much people in crypto land. So that's the main focus. So very exciting there. Now anybody can go on Pulsechain and build on Pulsechain. So if a particular project doesn't get copied over, they can always build onto Pulsechain. So that's always an option as well. But we're really focused about Pulsechain in this particular video, and that's our specialty topic for today. And we're going to give you lots more updates on that. So it's going to be pretty good. But good question there, Classborn, for sure. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We're going to quickly have a look. I'm just going to set up the other slide here. So let's just go and do that. I'm going to stop sharing that, and let's go share another one. Let's go here. We're going to go through, and let's pick up this, and I'm good for gold. So boom, there we are. So that's the video. We're going to quickly go Pulsechain. Here's Pulsechain again, of course. Don't forget the key goals for Pulsechain, just for new people that are not familiar with Pulsechain. Pulsechain is going to be a fork of Ethereum. That means they're basically going to copy Ethereum at a certain block. So a blockchain has blocks, and transactions are in those blocks. Everyone that does the transaction on that blockchain goes into a block, and it makes a new block all the time. And so at some point, they're going to choose a block, and they're going to fork off from that block, and so that will be going along and on the Ethereum blockchain, and then they're going to fork it off at a certain block, and then they're going to have the Pulsechain fork, and that's going to go off. So the history will be the same, but then after that, it's going to go off in its own direction with its own blocks and its own transactions in it. So amazing stuff. And also it's going to have some secret source to the blockchain on Pulsechain. We don't know what that is yet. A secret source, as Richard calls it. We're going to wait to see what that exactly is. So that's going to be pretty exciting. But you can see here that Pulsechain is going to have increased Ethereum value. It's going to have enriched ETH users. So it's really great getting on early. If you miss out being an ETH whale, for example, some people on ETH chain have 150,000 ETH sitting in their wallet. So that's pretty amazing. And they were in early, right? They were probably getting it in for 30, probably a few $100s or something, and now it's worth, $250 million, something like that. So amazing stuff there. Then you've got enriched ERC and NFT users. So going to be a lot of price discovery there. Easy to use, of course, going to work with MetaMask. Lower fees and serve more users. So that's a really important thing, especially with the Ethereum fees being so high. Obviously, they're a bit lower at the moment, but over time, you never know if a bull market comes back in, congestion comes back into the Ethereum market. So certainly help the Ethereum market, and so it's going to be some sort of value compared to Ethereum. And obviously, it's going to remove pollution, because it's pretty much going to proof of stake straight away with validators and stuff like that, rather than proof of work, which Ethereum's trying to move to. So it's going to really jump past Ethereum 2.0, and it's going to be like Ethereum 2.0 plus, because it's going to have some secret source stuff and things like that. It's got improved game theory. PLS has So PLS is the Pulse token that's going to have zero inflation. All right, so validators only earn fees, and 25% of the fees are burnt. And of course, it's going to empower Pulsechain holders, so people that hold PLS. So it's pretty huge at the moment. And at the moment, of course, obviously the status is they've got the test net running up, etc. And they're going to have 3-second blocks, so really fast, 4 times faster rather than 12-second blocks. So pretty neat. And obviously they're working on sacrifice address at the moment, rotation at the moment, and so it's pretty imminent, really. I think it's pretty close to launching that first phase. First phase is the sacrifice phase. Second phase is the mainnet, and I think there'll probably be, in my view, there'll be about a 2-week gap between those two. All right, so that's where we're at. So that's just an overview. Now you can actually check this. I'll put this in the video description, so you can actually check this out. Number of things: Hex pumping, Axiom dumping. Says number of things. Hey, thanks for that. We don't need to talk about Axiom dumping, but we've certainly got Hex pumping, so that's cool. I'll just remove that comment. We have positive comments on here. Number of things. Thanks. All right, so here's the Hex Pulse chain. If you want to copy that, there it is, the link there, and so forth. So we'll just jump on to the next one, and we're going to go to the Hex price here. So Hex price we're talking about is, so this is one of the strategies that people are doing. Richard also said that the sacrifice, hypothetically, probably won't end up selling. I'm just paraphrasing, but probably won't end up selling the Hex tokens that get sacrificed to it. So that's why there's a key driver of Hex pumping up. Hex by itself is a fantastic product, 37 to 40% APY, but that's pretty amazing. Now, but the thing is with this is that this is actually helping supercharge the Hex profile and pushing up into another parabola at the moment. So at the moment we've got Hex at 0.76, so 7.7 cents. Did actually peak up today. You can see it's reaching new highs. It's really on a breakout, which we were expecting, and it's currently up to 8.6 cents. So that's what's happening. So people are buying Hex, and obviously there's two benefits to that. One, they raise the US dollar value because the sacrifice is going to be based on US dollars value. So if they're holding Hex, they're going to do that. Secondly, there's a very good chance that the sacrifice address will not sell Hex down. That means it removes further Hex from the liquidity, and so liquidity squeezes even further. Some say it's about 5%, so it's going to squeeze even further down, making less on the market. So long term, that was super bullish for Hex. Of course, there's going to be a copy of Hex on Pulse and Hex on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, that obviously liquidity is going to get squeezed, and if the sacrifice gets the Hex on the ETH chain, then it will also, after the snapshot, because that will be after the sacrifice, we'll also get the liquid Hex on the Pulse chain, and so both chains will have less liquid Hex on them. Pretty amazing stuff. So it's super bullish for Hex by itself. But obviously, people are playing the Hex game for that. Also, they're playing the Hex game because the higher the US dollar value, when they put their Hex in to sacrifice it, they will then have higher US dollars. So everyone's bidding themselves up. As you know, prices are based on the marginal price. So the last buyer is what they're willing to pay, and it keeps going up, and that's what you see here at the moment, stepping up. And we could be on the breakout, and our first target for this is 10 to 12 cents. So if we scale that down, you can see next target's up in this direction, 10 to 12 cents. Now there will be, I expect, quite a bit of resistance at that level. We also have original Hex OGs. They could sell into this. People that are swing trading, that aren't intending to go into the Pulse chain, don't really get the big picture, because it really is a much bigger picture possibly than swing trading. So they're going to go into that, because you're looking, Pulse chain is going to have price discovery, could have 100x, could have all sorts of stuff on it. We're going to look at that in a second. So that's what's happening here at the moment, and I expect this price to continue to rise over the next few days. We don't know when the sacrifice address is going to be suddenly surprised on us. There'll be a platform that you can go on and link to, so that's going to be pretty fun as well. So we're looking forward to that. And so that's coming up as well. And so that's pretty much the Hex strategy. That's why people are doing that. Now you can use other tokens. You can use other ERC20s. You can use major coins, Ethereum, Bitcoin, other stuff. You can sacrifice all those as well. Obviously, Hex is one of the easier ones because it's got a small liquidity pool also to raise the price. So you can see the gamification going on there, and you can see it in the chart at the moment. So we're still expecting quite a big run up. Now it is fitting on a short time frame. It is fitting quite Fibonacci patterns with the retraces and the bounces. So it is kind of fitting those, particularly the last couple of Fibonacci's, fitting quite closely. So you can, trade within a band as it's going up. You can get the low and the high if you want to get and pick up more Hex for that. So that's that strategy, and people are going to sacrifice that Hex. Now, Richard sort of talked about doing 2/3 Hex and 1/3. Doing 2/3 of Hex, sacrificing it into the sacrifice address and keeping 1 Hex. So they're basically your other Hex bags will get pumped at the end of the process, and you'll even possibly free carry on it. So there's that sort of thing. Obviously, a lot of people have Hex stakes, so those Hex stakes will be copied over too. Obviously, a lot of people are staking that as well, so they get more Hex stakes over there. There's going to be a lot of gamification over there. So there's also post Pulse launch, you'll have Pulse tokens. Will people then try and buy up Pulse Hex? You've got all those sort of gamifications going on as well. So people are thinking about that. So there's lots of different stuff. Obviously, all the people that get involved are going to, some of the decisions is going to impact the value of Hex, going to impact the value of Pulse, and it's going to impact the value of all the ERC20s on those projects, and it possibly could even have an impact on the Ethereum blockchain itself and the project values over there. So that's the other thing. So also, Rich has also talked about that the sacrifice address may or may not sell down the other ERC20 tokens, the ones that aren't Hex. So that could play out as well. So there's lots of stuff happening, a lot of big picture stuff to think about, and individual people talking about strategy. So I've had a lot of people contact me about what's your strategy, what is this strategy, what is that strategy. So a lot of people doing stuff. Richard's talked about doing 2/3, as I said, Hex, and 1/3. So that also obviously builds up the Hex project as well. And Richard's also talked about having higher priced Hex on all chains, so ETH chain and Pulsechain, despite the fact that Ethereum has the S-load function, which means looping is expensive for staking and calculations. And so when you, especially for stakes that are long, those fees go up extremely high. So that's one of the main drivers for the Pulse chain, but not the only one, of course. So lots of stuff happening there. We saw that Okia contacted them, Richard, through a stream, and they've had conversations. So definitely big exchanges are starting to wake up. It's very hard to ignore the success of Hex in particular, and obviously Pulse chain is a full copy of the Ethereum blockchain, the most valuable one in the world, really, outside of Bitcoin, of course. So pretty major stuff, folks, happening there, and yeah, it's going to be awesome stuff. So that's one strategy, is doing the Hex strategy. You can see that in the chart at the moment. Also the Hex, if you look at on Nomics, let's go to Nomics here quickly, nomics.com. And we'll go to this, and yeah, so here we're going to check out Nomics. Now today, Hex actually went to number 5 on nomics.com. So on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, Hex gets gatekept, which has held the project back to some degree, obviously with exposure also to institutional indexes, stuff like that. But Hex has managed to plow ahead regardless, and that people are taking notice now. It's almost by December the 2nd, it's going to be 2 years that it's been around, so pretty big deal. And you can see that earlier today, or you can see it now at the moment, it's actually in number 5th place. So it's actually passed Ripple, Cardano, and Dogecoin and Cardano today on nomics.com, which is the only one that really probably the best one I know of that doesn't gatekeep. There are a couple others, but definitely a great index listing on nomics.com. And you can see Hex is number 5, up 2 places today, and you can see the price at 0.789 here, and it's climbing back now. There will be sellers into it, so it's going to be volatile as it goes up. That's why you see these wicks, plus also the liquidity is on the low side. Now 80% of the liquidity is in US dollars and 20% in ETH, so that uncorrelates it from the rest of the market as well. Another reason why it's managed to stay up, but ultimately demand is what keeps a token up. And you can see the big spikes here in the daily candles at the moment. So if we jump to the hourly on that as well, you can see that that's what I'll just just make sure that the screen's a bit easier to see, but you can see the big wicks up and down as some people take profits, maybe Hex OGs, some swing traders, and others people keep buying. So as you can see, ultimately the uptrend keeps going, and I think a lot of people are expecting 10 and 12 cents as the first level, and it could blow well past that, folks, over the life of the launch at Pulsechain. So that's pretty much it. Now the other strategy, of course, is you can use other ERC20s. So if you're after US dollars amounts, you don't have to say, I'm going to put this much Hex in, for example, or this much of USDC, or this much ETH, or something like that. You can decide to just fix a US dollar target. So you can just decide, I'm going to sacrifice 2,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever your budget is able to afford. Remember, you're basically sacrificing, you're not getting it back, and in return you're going to be able to basically mint your Pulse tokens when you get those allocated to you. And we're going to see the final gamification when it comes out. Obviously the high US dollar amount, that seems to be that you'll get a factor benefit for that compared to a lower US dollar amount. So we're waiting to see whether that's going to be confirmed as well. And so that's the idea, that you can just say, hey, I'm happy, I'm comfortable with doing 2,000, I'm comfortable with doing 100,000, depending on what what scale of investing you're doing. That's the way you can do it, and just put that US dollar amount. But obviously with the Hex strategy, people are trying to pump their Hex as well, especially if they've got a stake. So you've got those games going there as well. So some interesting stuff there. Now, obviously, Richard said 2/3, 1/3, and you can decide to do 50-50. I know people are doing 50-50. They're going to do 50-50 of their Hex liquid. Got other people going to do other tokens that they've got in the ERC20s. So interesting stuff there. You can also, obviously, a lot of calls that you can sacrifice Bitcoin or other major token coins as well. So that's going to be interesting to see that play out. But there will be a lot of price discovery on Pulse, and we might get some fluid back as well. Now, I'm expecting the Pulse chain to do price discovery, and then to pull back strongly, just like it happens in a lot of cryptos, and then to start slowly tracking up as the fundamental value is realized in the chain. And it's going to be interesting to see Obviously, use is pretty important, how people use it, but I think there's a lot of confidence that it will really be used a lot and get valued up. So let's have a quick look at the moment of the market cap. So we've got Ethereum here at 268 billion, and we've got Hex here at 44 billion. So I don't know, some people could say we know that it's going to probably be about 1.1 trillion Pulse tokens approximately. And so the value of Ethereum at the moment is 268. So how do you value, ultimately give some sort of real value? Now the market will do what it's going to do. It could overshoot. We see that all the time, and then come back to something and then realize, oh, it's oversold now, and it comes back until the volatility comes out of it and they start pricing it as a more fundamental chain. And that's, you know, price discovery for you. So if we had 268 and we did that, we just say it's going to be worth 20%. So 53 billion, that's the one way you might want to value it. And then you just have to divide the number of Pulse tokens that they're going to be, and so forth. And let's say 100 billion gets put into the sacrifice address, then you can start to work out what the average price might be. But of course, the market's going to go crazy when the price discovery goes on. So that's going to be tough to call. And so I don't think anyone's going to call that at all. But, you know, you could get 1 cent pulse, you could get 15-cent pulse, but that'd be really, if it got 15%, 15 cent, 25-cent pulse, you're really talking about valuing it really close to the Ethereum blockchain. Now, is it going to get there in time? It could do. But what is a practical way to do it? Would you value it at 10% of the Ethereum blockchain at the moment, 20%? So those are some of the big questions that we're going to find out with price discovery. I'm really that's kind of the where you're at the moment. I can sort of see at least, I think, a 10% is kind of a realistic thing. We know that other chains, other forks of Ethereum are valued quite highly, so that might be something as well. But obviously there's a lot of momentum with the Pulse chain. We'll see how that goes. There are a lot of people lining up. Are there going to be 10, 20, 30,000 people? Those are sort of 20, 30,000, a lot of numbers I've heard, 30 to 40,000 people, and that's a lot of potential economic energy going into there. So some interesting times ahead. Now, obviously, you can choose other ERC20s to enter as well and play that. You can also play a hedge, like a free carry hedge, like that 2/3, 1/3, where you keep 1/3 of Hex or whatever you're going to sacrifice, and then it gets pumped. Now, there are a few other tokens out there that can actually easily move on liquidity too, but you know, it's hard to move big tokens on liquidity, especially with the market is in its sort of bearish pose at the moment. And so that's another point to take, because see, Ethereum's down at 2,300 towards the bottom of the range. Thank goodness it's still over 2,000. Richard really wants this to pump as well. I think he's kind of been holding off for that. Can Bitcoin pump back over 42,000 and then back up to 55? And that's kind of where he would really like it. Obviously, the higher value of those, the more valuable the sacrifice will be, and the more upside the Pulse chain can be valued based on that as well. So there's lots of questions to be asked, and the market's going to answer it in the price discovery phase. So hopefully there's going to be lots of different types of people. Like, it's going to be short-term swing traders. It's going to be a long-term. At the moment, the price chart in Hex is telling us that there's far more buyers than there are sellers at the moment. But once again, once you get to 10, 12 cents, it's going to be a lot more fragile there. Let's just check some of the comments here as we go up. I'm just going to catch up here on some of the comments. So Classborn's in there. Hi, Cowboy. Accent included in Pulse chain. Hex pumping. Yeah, we've got that one there. Let me just go back up there at the moment. SKB's in the house. Hey, thanks SKB for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Awesome stuff. Alex K, thanks for Pulse update, Superman. Hey, always trying to bring some extra value. These aren't, you know, this is a huge opportunity, and you know, well, this channel is mainly focused on Axiom token. We do cover other cryptocurrencies. We want people to be well informed, and obviously a lot of people can't study crypto all the time. So hopefully you're getting a lot of insights from some of these specialty videos that we've been doing. Especially Pulse Chain is probably the biggest opportunity coming up, and so hopefully you guys benefit from that. Crypto Journeyman, hello, good to see you there, and great to see you as well. All right. Well, we've got that pulsechain.com there, like also stuff. We've got to catch up here, so we're getting a bit slow. Crypto Journeyman, hello, good to see you, Crypto Journeyman. And Hex passed 88 earlier today when it hit 8 cents. Dodge as well. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's actually above them now, which is incredible. Obviously, the prices of those ones have fallen, and I think Hex is going to keep chugging along. Volatility could be, you know, 1.5 cents as it goes up every sort of hour or something. Seems that way. Alex, do you think there will be a sell-off after the sacrifice phase starts or continues higher? I actually think once the sacrifice starts, there will be a lot of volatility, but ultimately, I think it's going to keep going higher, up over to when the mainnet launches, and just past the main net, just after the mainnet launch. That's how long I expect it to be. Quite a long a bull run for the Hex price. That's why I said it's 10 to 12 cents, but upwards to 25 to 40 cents. Sounds crazy, but you know, anyone in crypto knows that that's possible. But the other thing is, of course, that we could, between the sacrifice and the sacrifice period, and between the gap between the mainnet, that could be quite a volatile time. We could see some move wicks down, move wicks up for the mainnet, because obviously price discovery is not going to be to the mainnet. So let's keep to the original timeline. We've got Pulsechain for 1 month. Say it could be shorter. I think it's going to be shorter, but let's say if it's goes down to 2 weeks, could be 2 weeks rather than a month. I think it might be 2 weeks. Then if we had 2 weeks, because the actual blockchain is apparently being developed really fast, then if we had a week, maybe 2 weeks between the sacrifice ending, I think it's going to be short. I think every time frame is actually going to be shorter than originally given. And so if we have a short time through the mainnet, they could have volatility in that time there. Obviously, when people sacrifice, they're going to keep buying up. We'll have some people that are going to swing trade, but I still think the net buying is going to win out. But that gap between the mainnet and Pulsechain, I think, is going to be the most volatile time. Then another run up for the mainnet itself, and then it's going to be all on then. And so that's going to be a huge thing when we get that price discovery. And obviously, I think from the price discovery, I think we'll get this wick up, massive wick up on the price discovery. All ERC20s, remember, plus Pulse. It's all game on. It's going to be an incredible time in value discovery and out there. So do take your risk management seriously as we go through these phases, and think out your strategy plan well ahead. And once again, if you keep a certain amount in free carry, then you are good on the upside, right, if you're in the free carry position. So just take that into account as well. So hopefully that sort of helps with that one. Hi, Crypto Journeyman, says Alex. So Alex, moderator, great to have Alex in the chat, of course. Oh, well, there will be some selling. Yeah, always some selling, absolutely. And it's also the time of the selling. So after a big run up, there's going to be a sell off. There will be a sell off after the big run up, but how big's the run up? You know, is it 10 to 12 cents? I think it's going to keep going past that. I think that's the first one. There will be a lot of pressure at that price, and then we'll see where it goes after that. But I do think there's going to be actually quite an extended period of bullishness, but with some huge volatility. So, you know, we'll see how that ends up. And crypto sharing. But listen, some Hex obviously will be sacrificed as well. That will help the price. Absolutely. And that's the main play. I think that's the main play, is that the Hex will be treated differently by the sacrifice address, hypothetically speaking, says Richard Hart's hyper thing. Yeah, so I don't worry about every possible outcome. Yeah, it's just about trying to have the optimal strategy. That's kind of where we have, rather than the outcome. I'll be a millionaire in 2.5 years. Yeah, I think everyone in these projects is in a pretty good place. Alex K says, yeah, Hex sacrifice, decreasing supply available for sale on top already. Everything that's time locked is a genius move. It is absolutely genius. And I think that's probably the best play, even compared to all ERC20 tokens. I think US dollars is a reasonable strategy as well. If you could sacrifice USD and keep all your Hex if you want to do that for Pulse. So there's other strategies to do. Very cool. And let's go here. Let me go back up here. I'm just jumping ahead here. Somehow I lost my track here. Yeah, so here, Hex sacrifice, decrease in supply. Yep, genius move. And Crypto Journeyman, we can't be on top of every possible. Yeah, I think I read it. I accidentally skipped ahead there. Sorry about that. There's no way to lose, Crypto Man. No way to lose. Well, you can lose paper money, but you can still be ahead for sure. Free tokens on the start of giant token is a chance of a lifetime. I believe so. I think this is really is the chance of a lifetime, especially for those who get early. Yeah, I just make a new 10-year stake for 20 T-shares, saying goodbye to 120 Hex for 10 years is a painful move at current prices. Oh, wow. Well, congratulations to you. T-shares are going to be really hard to get in the future, obviously, because the share price is rising and theoretically the Hex price is rising. So T-shares are going to become rare. Now, if you haven't seen Big Pep does a video just, I think, yesterday on T-shares, and he shows you that eventually people will be getting B shares, that's billions of shares, and eventually M shares, millions of shares, etc. It's going to become, already at this stage, right where we are now, we're at that first turning point. We're getting T-shares is harder and harder. I think it costs you $1,300, $1,400 to get a T-share now. Remember, it was 60 cents back, I think, on the 4th of January last year or somewhere, 6th of January. So look at that, 60 cents to 1,300 US dollars, 1,400 US dollars. Getting t-shirts is going to be rare. But remember, t-shirts is on the supply side. We also need the demand side to be to keep continuing on, right? So they go hand in hand. But definitely that maths is pretty amazing. Cardano too, dips keep getting eaten up tonight. Absolutely, Cardano, with you on that one. And we're currently sitting at 7.74 on that one, so not too bad. And let's just jump back to the Pulsechain there on the flip. So yeah, so SKB, hey, thanks very much for the super chat, SKB. Once again, you're a superstar. Really appreciate it. YouTubers love getting super chats. Very cool thing. All right, yeah, I just staked 100,000 for 5 years. Journeyman says, oh wow, congratulations to you. So really awesome staking that, and it's going to be a big bet up benefit as well. I got 600,000 more for sacrifice, and maybe another stake. Hey, that's fantastic. All the best for you, Crypto Journeyman. Sounds like you know exactly what you're doing, and all the best for you on that one. Crypto Journeyman, hello. Yeah, it's good to see. I've been saying it for weeks. Hex is going to 10 cents. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a common expectation, 10, 12 cents, but with an upward side through the whole process I'm talking about, with some increased volatility, of course. We see that in the chart already, that certainly coming from Hex OGs and swing traders, speculators, that's where you're going to get the selling. But a lot of Hex OGs, like Axion, they're committed stakers. So a lot of them don't want to give up their T-shares, give up their Hex. They see the big long-term picture. So there's a lot of that going on as well. But at the moment, definitely the chart showing net buying with 1 or 2 counts. We saw someone sold 1.2 million earlier. That dropped us below 6 and took us down to just above 7, and someone sold a bit more, went to 6.8, and then it popped back over 7, and now we're back at 7.7, all in the last 2 hours. So a lot of action going there. I see a $2,000 T-share this year. I do too. I see $2,000 T-share, and it could be higher than that. But T-shares are going to get way more expensive, folks. Now, in Axion, of course, we have M shares. So we have some similar, anything that has a share rate. Obviously, Wise Token also has share rates as well. So those all go up over time. Exciting times ahead. Load your bags for the sacrifice. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be the chance of a lifetime to become a pulse whale, just like the early ETH whales did when they were getting, they've now, what they turn a couple $100 probably, maybe $1,000 into $250 million. Those whales, there's heaps of them sitting on the ETH chain. Go check it out under the holders for the ETH chain. You can see there are bags and bags and bags of them. Pretty amazing stuff there. Actually, let's pull that up. Actually, let's go Etherscan. Now we know that there's a ETH whale buying at the moment. I'm just going to pull that up. Let's go. We're going to check out. This is an ETH whale that's buying Hex at the moment. Now they bought 100 million. So let's go check out. But it's 9C5. They're buying up at the moment. Let's see what they've got. So you can see they've got 93,960 ETH. And that's worth 215 million US dollars. I mean, awesome stuff. And look at what they've got. They've bought 109 million Hex at the moment. That's gone up about 7-8 million the last day or so. I think we can actually jump on there and check that out. But this is the kind of buyers that are lining up for the sacrifice. I believe this is pretty much going to get sacrificed. I think that this strategy of this whale wants to be I mean, without knowing all the information, of course. So just take that. I'm just speculating on what it seems to be doing. They're already an ETH whale, and they look like they're going to speculate to become a pulse whale. And so that's my view. They could be doing something else, of course. They could be swing trading, which would be, with this amount, would be pretty difficult given the liquidity on Hex. But that's the case. They could have nefarious opportunities, but why would you have nefarious opportunities? So I think the most likely scenario is that they're going to probably sacrifice this, and they've been picking this up. Look at this. They've been picking up 14 hours ago, 13 hours ago, picking up millions and millions of it through the USDC pair. So this is an ETH whale. Look at that. That's a big ETH whale. And looks like they thinking about becoming a pulse whale, and probably one of the very biggest. So pretty interesting stuff going there, and I'll see what you think of that. So let's have a quickly check out. Of course, let's go back to back there. I want to show you how many ETH whales there are and how many people will want to be becoming pulse whales, and the price will get priced up. So let's go back there and check that out as well. Just going back, and let's go back one more, and not quite there yet. Let's let me just type that in the chat there. going up. I think this one will be fine. So check this out. Let's go holders. You can see just on the wrapped ETH holders, you've got people with huge amounts. 100. Look at all this. Well, this is all the sushi subs, but let me just go back over to holders there. Just jump down. I'm not actually looking at the same thing that I was last time, so we'll forget that. I actually had the thing up, but I've lost it, so we'll leave it on live stream. It's a bit harder to find. All right, Alex K, very nice gentleman. Best of luck to you. Yeah, absolutely. And yes, sir, is everyone in Hex or Pulse Coin Telegram. Yeah, pretty much everyone, I think. So don't forget to get into that. Remember, always use the official channels. Never use an unofficial channel. Never use contact. Watch out for scammers with all sorts of techniques. They might ask you to send them crypto. They might pretend that they're Richard Hart. They might pretend that they're Pulsechain. All sorts of stuff. Just do not go to the official channel, Richard Hart or the Telegram official channels. Remember that. We don't want anyone to lose crypto to scammers. Sacrifice Hess is smart, says Journeyman. It's not hard to stake it either. Yeah, absolutely. One of the ETH God whales with 95 has been accumulating. Yeah, we just covered that again, Hex, and that definitely helps the price. Just hope he doesn't try to play games with all the pulse he gets. Yeah, I imagine they're just going to hold it, Alex. I think there's a good chance to just hold it rather than just speculate at the beginning, because I think holding it, just like they probably held ETH, that they'll do better over the long term, and they want to become a pulse whale. So yeah, apparently is the Genesis ETH God whale. It's the Genesis ETH whale. Cardano says this. If that's is that confirmed, Cardano TV? Let me know. Have you got confirmation of that? Because it possibly could be. There are at least, I thought there were at least 2 or 3 ETH whales in Hex, so that'd be interesting. Alex, and I know it's not Richard Hart. Who is it? And God whale is one that sent the price crazy on the first big Hex pump. Okay, that's interesting. Someone who had a Genesis ETH shares. Someone had Genesis ETH shares. Oh, interesting. Okay, and RH missed out on ETH launch because of the maximalism, I believe. Says Alex, and yep, tempted to stake Hex, says SA Homebuyer. Hey, SA Homebuyer, great to see you on here. Always great to see you in the chat here. Yeah, covering Pulse, a lot of fun topic, really. Pretty exciting, and yeah, awesome stuff. All right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this update. How are we going? 37 minutes. Boy, I'm twice as long as I was expecting to go on this update. But yeah, all exciting times ahead. We're definitely watching out for the price action here. You can see that big dip down we had 2 hours ago. So definitely some sellers in there. You can see another dip down. There are people willing to sell into the rising price for sure. Obviously, you know, but the trend is on the way up, and I definitely think that we're heading towards that 10 to 12 cent mark. And that sacrifice address, this is probably the key outtake from today. The sacrifice address is going to be out any day, and it won't be, you won't be giving a heads up. Very cool. So that's going to be interesting as people scammer on. And then we could see the Hex really explode. We'll see a lot of other ERC20 tokens explode as well, particularly ones with smaller prices. They'll be moved up across probably the Ethereum blockchain as people speculate and try and get that US dollar up of their favorite project and get that copied over. We'll see that as well. So let us know in the chat, if, of course, if you've seen any of those ERC20s that have been pumping, you think possibly in speculation for the sacrifice address. There are a lot of people lining up. Definitely a lot of millionaires as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out and exactly how much you get in there. So like I say, we could easily get 100 million US dollars or well more than that. We could really blow our minds with how much we get in there. Could be in you know, up to the billion mark or something like that. Could be some crazy stuff. We're going to wait and find out. No one really knows the answer to that unless they've got a lot of unless they are one of the big whales with a whole ton of other whale friends. They don't know. You know, most people will not know how that's going to play out, but I think the number of people getting involved is huge. I think it's really massive, and it's going to be interesting times. Now, obviously, there's the fundamental value of the Pulse chain, but there's also the demand side. How many people will be in play? What's the sum of their games that will play? And I think ultimately Hex will benefit regardless. But also there's also price cycles, right? So we mustn't. There will be a top in each cycle. So it's always best to sell at the top and not at the bottom, particularly if you want to accumulate the stuff. So there will be lots of that going on. But I think we've got a long way to run until that point. And yeah, so it could be some major price retraction at the launch of the actual mainnet. I think that's going to be a big day indeed. And then, like I say, I think it's going to be the classic, super pump, oversell at the bottom, and then start rising after that, because obviously there's a lot of functional features, and it's going to get a lot of people are going to be talking about Pulsechain for a long time. And using it as well, and so I think the adoption is going to come. I think more teams will come on it. I think new projects will go on it. I think it's got a lot of upside, and it's a nice clean layer 1. That's important too. We're getting a lot of layer 2s, getting a lot of semi-decentralized, but I think a lot of people really want that decentralized focus, despite some of the usability, like Binance Smart Chain is quite usable, but of course it's not not as that layer 1 type version that we were after. So interesting stuff there. All right, let's go here. I've got some. Oh wow. Okay, so let's have where I'm up to. Hex, yes, Hex tempted stake. A bit behind here as well. Yeah, so do look out. Coffee in the Hex community has got a really good video on strategy, stake strategy as well. Big Pep's got a cool video on stake strategies. Who else? Hodl Dog has got a big one on strategies. So those are some really good ones I recommend you to follow. And Into Crypto is probably the #1 commentator on price for Hex and Pulsechain. So he's probably worth following as well. So check those out on YouTube. All right. So yeah, what's the advantage of sacrificing Hex? There will be more than 1-for-1 if you sacrifice Hex. Absolutely. Crypto, I think sacrificing is more speculative, risky move than just staking Hex. Alex says, yeah, it definitely is, but I think the upside is pretty huge too. But it could pay off nicely in the short, medium term. SKB, Big Pep's video. Yeah, Big Pep's video is really good, especially on T-shares, on sacrifice strategies. So if you check out Big Pep's, just type in Big Pep's Hex, and you'll find Big Pep's. He's really good. And obviously, Coffee's done a really good video, as I said. Into Crypto is always great. And Hodl Dog is really awesome as well. In fact, he's so very professional. Thanks, Alex, buddy. Sacrifice class will get most of the Pulse supply. That's correct. So the sacrifice class is going to get, I think it's 10,000 to 1. So all the copies are just copies. ETH will get a 1-to-1, and basically all the Pulse is going to be for those who sacrifice. So that's why the sacrifice phase is so pivotal. That's why the price discovery is going to be huge. It really is. So yeah. Hey, SA Homebar, $4 super sticker. Woohoo! Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Love it. And 2 of them as well. Hey, SA Homebar, really much appreciated. Big shout out to SA Homebuyer. SKB gave me a $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Alex K. I hate onboarding people when price is near all-time high. So hopefully nice pullback soon before sacrifice begins. Yeah, that's the news today from that Richard video, was that we really don't know when that's going to be. And obviously, Alex, hexstreamers.com keeps track of all the Hex content creators. You can find recent videos from many people there. Too much content, not enough time. Absolutely, Alex. So it's nice to get those high reviews. I think 40-50 cents for sure by the end of August. Hey, Ronald, I think there's a good chance of that. There will be a price pullback in Hex at some stage. So just keep that into account, though. So nothing's, there will be the parabolics. We've seen Hex go through many of them, and you do get up to that 80-85% pullback, but it always goes to pretty much to a new high, higher low. But just take that into account as well. It is pretty awesome with the liquidity coming off the sacrifice dress. That is a big play as well. Alex K, your words to God's ears, he says. So yeah, very cool on that. All right, so what's it? Cardano TV, I just ordered my platinum Rolex today. OMG, Cardano TV. Woo! We're not worthy. You have to do a video like Richard with your Rolexes, have it spinning around. The old video spins around. And yes, Donald. Hey, congratulations to you, Cardano TV. Very nice purchase. And Alex says, OMG. No! Yeah, I actually talked to someone that's just got into Hex recently, and they love the Rolexes. So they like Richard's videos with the Rolexes. So I'm sure you'll be able to get 1 subscriber there, Cardano TV. Don't spend money before Pulse launch. Yeah, so that's the old thing. Remember, Richard said about spending money on stuff, and he said, why go to a conference, a crypto conference? Why not just spend it, your crypto conference fees on crypto, and you'd be probably making 10x or more. That's the one I saw Richard say. That was pretty hilarious. So very cool. All All right, so hopefully, you know, with doing these specialty videos on Pulsechain and other cryptos, hopefully that's adding a lot of value to you. And obviously, if you haven't considered Axion, really good price to enter Axion at the moment. So you can look at staking Axion. You also get wrap Bitcoin divs as well 4 times a week. So check that out as well if you're new to this channel and you manage to get that. It's always good to have a diversified portfolio of crypto assets as well. Good, big basic principle investing. All right, so let's quickly check here. Delayed gratifications, absolutely. Says Alex, that's the name of the game, and certificate of deposits as well. And Superman, when you buy your Rolex, you won't need a spinner. Just get on the breakdance mat to wind it up. Hey, nice, well said, Katana TV. That's true. I want a new sports bike, but we'll wait a couple more months. Yeah, I actually want to. In my dreams, I would like to get a nice Tesla. Would be enough for me. You know, that'd be pretty cool. And you get that little electric car with the little screen in the front. That'd be nice. Hey, all right. So how are we going for time? 45 minutes. Hope we're doing pretty well. I've also got the auction show coming up later in the evening here. So lots going on there. What else we got? We've got a few comments here. It's Ronald Johnson. I have gotten my last year around 0.005. Hey, congrats, Ronald. That's a nice buy. You're up pretty nicely now for sure. Now, only joking. The clock on my $75 Samsung tells the time. Great. All right, you're joking. Good one, Kadana TV. Yeah, that's right. You got to be a man of practicality or something. Very cool on that. That's a good joke. Half a penny, great price, absolutely great price, especially now that's like around 18 cents. Was it 16x or something? I don't know what the math works out on that, but it's pretty awesome. So yeah, fun times. You can see the bit of switching position. Now it's going to show something else. I'm just trying to remember what it was. I'm not sure what it was there. I was going to talk about something else on that topic. I think that was it, really. Let's actually, I was going to go back. Let me just rejig this, and I'm going to go boom. Yeah. Going to remove that, and let's share this again. Share. All right, so let's go for that. And I was just going to share this one more time. Let's go back up here. So this is, once again, let's play this as to pretty much to wrap up for this Pulsechain specialty video update. Yeah, we've had enough time. Sacrifice, when it launches, whenever that is, it's going to be, and I think relatively soon, it's just going to launch. So there we are, folks. I hope that's a good way to end the live stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed this update, and we're going to do more, of course, because I think this is such an awesome opportunity. And don't forget also check out Axion. We're going to have the auction close coming up for the Mega VCA. It looks like it's going pretty well so far that I saw last time, a couple hours ago I checked. So we're going to check that again. So I'll catch you all on the live stream then for the VCA, Mega VCA number 40 Mega auction, 3 billion Axion out for grabs. So I'll catch you all for there, and I look forward to seeing you as well. Hope you made a nice letter, says Alex K, not keeping it all liquid. And Crypto Journeyman says thank you. Hey, pleasure. Great to see you in the chat there, Crypto Journeyman. A lot of nice comments there as well. And Kadana says, TV, thanks, Superman. Love your show. And hit the like button. Yeah, hit that like button. Everybody subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're new to Axion, then you're going to enjoy lots of different specialty topics as well. So awesome stuff there. Onwards and upwards, exciting times. We keep an open mind on this channel. We try to talk about everything and not to be too limited. We don't like being in tribalism. We just want to have fun with what we're doing. So hope you enjoy it. See you later, Alex K, and see you, Classborn. See you later. Woohoo! All right, let's go.